Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Free Market Prep. Me and Kyle are here today. I just made that name up.
What is up, everybody? Let me go to the channel here so I can see the chat.
Yep. I'm going to have up the participants thing in case Dom joins. I see he just popped into the room, but he is driving today, so there is a good chance he will not be here today. But that's okay. That's not going to stop us from sharing what's good in the market, what's happening. Today we're going to focus more on actual plays that we are looking at as Clovers and going to be discussing in the room. Today's going to be a busy day. We talk about how wishy-washy the market's been, quiet, something new pops up, and right now the something new is CVNA. So what was that? They were scheduled to do earnings last night. I think they've changed that schedule to this morning when they reported earnings. Is that correct?
They were supposed to announce August 2nd or 3rd.
Oh.
And then last night and after hours announced, hey, we're going to just announce our earnings tomorrow morning, just fast-tracked it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they released earnings, I guess, what would have been 3 or 6:30 a.m., what it looks like on the chart.
It's 6:30.
Yeah. And now we're here. We are up 33% of the day. I guess that just segue into my watch list. So CVNA was my top watch, mainly because when I think it was very apparent and obvious that they, for anyone who's been looking at the company, they wanted to do an offering once they announced their earnings, which they did. They'd have $1 billion ATM out. The problem is, and the dynamics to this is that changed everything, is that they actually had really good earnings, like their best quarter. It's by some headlines. If you just read the headlines of some PR, the best earnings they've had in a very long time, if ever. So that really changes things. And unfortunately, and even in the conference call, I was just listening. I just hung up before I got on here. It sounds like they're not even going to use all the ATM right now. They're only going to use as much as they need for the short term. I think that's kind of silly. I think they'd want to, if they're smart, they should take advantage of it all today. And maybe that's just them talking and then doing another thing in the behind the scenes. But this definitely changes my entire thesis of how I want to trade it. For those who were in Clover, I constantly wanted to swing it to try to take it back down to, call it 15, 10, $5, right, long term, just because they thought they have so much in debt that they would have to dilute so much of literally dilute the crap out of themselves to succeed, kind of like a BBBY scenario. But again, adding in the earnings, adding in how the company is handling things, it drastically changes this. And so now for me, this is really just going to be a trader for me. It reminds me a lot of AMC, where, you're going to get some kind of maybe parabolic, maybe some kind of solid red day. But after that, that's really all I want for me. Unfortunately, and again, if you've been following along with me in the Clover chat room, really since June all the way through now, CVNA has just been a pretty big source of losses for me, mainly because I've been, I don't want to say stubborn, I've just been too convicted on the short side. And finally today is the icing on the cake for me to realize this is just not going to do that. And it needs to be a trade of just catching a parabolic or catching a red day and be done with it. And so that's kind of my thesis going into it now. Other than that, I am long BBBYQ overnight for a little breakout over 38 from June. Now, unfortunately, as I'm looking at my OTCs, their level 2 is not active right now. It's still if you have Dash Trader, it's still gray, which is a bit concerning to me. Usually by this time you should start to see whether we're gapping up or gapping down. So I'm not sure why that is. There has been days where market makers and or just the OTC market in general has glitched out and has caused a delay in quotes actually, kind of being accurate. So I'm afraid if that happens, my BBYQ idea will not work, because when this happens, a lot of longs just want to get out because when they can't sell, panic sets in. So if it breaks 36, I will just get out there. Other main trade is NKLA. NKLA has had a really nice bounce off of, what was this, Thursday to Friday. I guess we're on Wednesday now, so yeah, Monday is when it bounced. We're now technically up, we're gapping up, so call it, if we closed right now, theoretically, we're technically at 3 green days in a row. This is, a nice bounce looking short for me. It looks very similar to what happened in June when it ran from, it's bottomed at 115 and then ran to 160 or 159, and then that was a bounce short. So I'm going to be thinking the same thing today, possibly try to use yesterday's high as risk, the 270s, and then looking for a pullback possibly to the 240s, 230s, maybe 220s today, but I don't think it's going to have that much range. I'd be pretty impressed if it did, but that's kind of that thinking there. other than that, that's pretty much it for me on terms of plays that I know I'll trade today. There's a lot of other trades like KSCP or AAOI that have been former runners and former plays, but just nothing in play for me today specifically. So that's pretty much it on my end. How about you, Swarzy?
Very nice. Yeah, CDNA. I'm just going to talk about this one for a little bit. So, I mean, there was a very low expectancy that, given the range, from mid 40s, low 35, I mean, it tanked after hours and then it came all the way back up. I mean, you can't help but think, like, people are very, very stuck. And now it's kind of a question of to what extent are they stuck? And so for that reason, like, just erring on the side of caution, I decided I'm not going to short sell any of this stock today. I don't care if it closes at $10 a share. I'll just miss it. It's not the first play I've ever missed in my life. But I would rather kind of like see how panic or a sell-off would get taken in this stock. And if that's the case, I will be looking for buys. I mean, got a range mid 40s, 50, all the way into 60. I mean, somewhere around the 50s and near VWAP. I mean, if VWAP's holding and it's soaking around there, I'll probably be taking some longs in there with mid-high 40s risk. So probably risking a couple points. I'm going to widen all my parameters just because this isn't a penny stock. I'm not trying to make 20 cents for 60 cents or something like that. So it's going to be give or take dollars. Next up on my watch list, it is PWM. This one exhausted itself out yesterday, which you'll love to see that from a short perspective. But it is losing a little bit of liquidity. I mean, 6.4 million shares, 9.2 million shares. Today, I'm thinking maybe some shoves into the 20, 21, maybe 22 area and short sell against that, risking 26s. I'd be interested in cleaning up some action there. And probably looking for, I'm shorting up in here, looking for covers in the 17s area, mid 17s area. Not looking to get too greedy with it, but just patting the wallet with like $2-3 a share, which that's fantastic. Next up, actually, those are the main ones today. Yeah, there was a spec that I was looking at that I was interested in, but after everything that's been going on with specs, man, how much do you trust this stuff at this point? Right? Like, you can't tell me this didn't raise a couple red flags when they were halting EDTX, which they're being investigated by the SEC. Well, they're being asked for questions, information requested by the SEC. So they're T12, GGAA, T12, information requested by the SEC. DMAC isn't next. I don't know. Do you want to short that and be halted on for 2 months, paying 800% interest every day? Not super interesting, but I was interested in case like these bids were actually firming up and catching, which they kind of fell through, but right now it's chopping, but right now it's on the back burner. CVNA, PWM, those are much more interesting to me. Those plans make much more sense to me than something like this where it's a lot more speculative. So those are 2 plays I'm going to stick with, and there's no need to over trade. So that's why I keep it simple. I keep the 2 trades. I mean, I used to have 12 charts on my screen. Now I only have 5, and it's much more freeing. Much more freeing, much more relaxing. CVNA.
Narrow down your focus there,
Yeah.
Yeah, as you're speaking, CVNA here, we are, PMR high is 58.88. We are now at 57. Just impressive, this is definitely going to be a very popular name all day today. Yeah. Just quite madness. You don't really see this every day, so this is exciting, whether you trade it or not. If you just, again, most traders probably shouldn't. In my head, as I'm watching, I'm like, should I really even be trading this? Like, and I can't because I have traded, ones prior to it, like AMC, GME, and etc. But even then, it's just one of these tickers and runners that you just, for those true new traders, I've never seen a runner like this. Like, I would say, don't feel like you have to trade it and just watch, just learn, because it's impressive stuff. It's very, just when you think you've seen it all, you're always you always have a new scenario at your disposal here. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, this is entering meme territory, I'd say. I mean, is it full blown meme? I don't know. But like, it's definitely reasonable to say there's something memey about this ticker that you know, when the memes come in, the apes come in, it's any man's game, really.
Right, right.
So you always have to take that into consideration. And personally, that's why I'm like leaning more towards long sides. You can manage the risk much better. I mean, you know exactly how much you can really lose. I mean, I'm not going to lose more than 100% on the long unless I'm levered, which never use leverage. But the speed of the ticker actually slows down when it goes down. Like, I mean, it's really tough for a stock to just capitulate and expand range, whereas on the long side, when it's going up, can definitely expand range, where like 1 point becomes 2 points and then 2 points become 4 points, and that's how things really get out of hands for shorts.
Right, right. Well, a little bit of a slower one this evening, just because there's only two of us. Yeah. Everyone else is got busy, got plans, doing their own thing. But if not, without further ado, if anything else, maybe take a question or two, Sourcey, if you want, or otherwise.
Yeah, somebody just asked, what do you guys think of AI? I pulled up the chart yesterday. I'm like, oh man, I should have been scooping more calls the last 2 days.
AI, yeah, dude, this thing looks healthy.
Look at that, it's so healthy. Like, I mean, okay, sure. Now that we said it's healthy, it's gonna slam down to like 25, sure. But I mean, as far as like slow and control goes, I mean, we were talking about this in the 4-leaf webinar yesterday. Like, expands range, goes up really fast, and then it sort of like compresses. You know, everything gets a little bit tighter, and we saw this in Nikola. And then that kind of leads to the compression leads to expansion, where expansion, compression, expansion. And now Nikola needs to find some sort of compression or just fail. But I mean, I like AI. It's all my opinion. It's not financial advice. I mean, I'll probably lose. I expect to lose money on this trade. But who doesn't love a ticker named AI?
Yeah, it looks really good. Just again, there's so many plans you could have with this. You could long this now and want to be long for a few months. You could long it now for a breakout over 42 and have it try to go right away. I mean, there's right now AI is taking a bit of a break. If you look at some of the AI charts, none of them have been running to new highs at all. They've been consolidating, which is honestly healthy in my opinion. If you're looking for a future run, another AI run, and let's call it, next month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe even the end of the year, this consolidation is healthy. But again, as to when that next run starts, I have no idea. Looking at AI, it looks really good. But again, timing is everything in trading. And so I just don't know the timing on this. If you've heard me talk about it, I've always wanted to long this thing. I mean, I've always said, at first I said, I want it sub 20, didn't buy it sub 20 when it was there during like the beginning of May. And then I told myself I'd buy it at $30 when it pulled back after, late May, didn't do that. Then I said I was going to buy it, mid-June on that pullback down to like 31, 32, didn't buy that. So at this point, I'm just willing to accept that I am probably just not going to buy this unless it consolidates for a very long time. And then actually, call it breaks out, a month, 2 months from now, maybe a couple weeks from now at the minimum. But that's just my thoughts on it. But it looks great. I'm still long SOUN from like 3. I guess by now my average is like 310. I guess it wouldn't change necessarily, 315-ish. Somewhere I just forget because E-Trade doesn't tell me my accurate average anymore once you sell a position.
Now, when did everybody start buying SOUN? Like here in April-ish?
Some people did April-ish. I didn't buy till the beginning of, I guess actually mid-June. Like I think I bought June 13th or 12th, somewhere in there.
Yeah, this chart is really shaping up, honestly.
Yeah,
it's making some very nice ranges here. Mid 4s are going to be huge. Claims the high 2s, low 3s.
Yeah, then try to break out 5 maybe in a couple months. That'd be pretty sick.
That'd be cool.
So,
yeah, thoughts on, what is it, VRM first? I've never heard of the ticker, so I'm skeptical of it. Wow, that's a lot of bidding up action right there. This isn't really my trade. I mean, is this like a pump and dump or something?
It looks interesting.
NASDAQ. Yeah, it looks interesting for sure.
It kind of looks like something I'd want to trade, but then again, it doesn't really look that smooth. It's actually quite choppy to an extent. I had that one red day on July 14th, but this looks like a breakout. So, I don't really feel comfortable longing it, but I think it extends itself to call it 354, 455. I could see a trade there if I'm short biased, but other than that, today is just not the day to look at this for me personally.
Yeah, I could see a trade too, but I just don't know what trade I'd see.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Let's see. Where did the YouTube stream go? I think we got. Gonna take one more. They're saying a sympathy to Carvana. Oh, that's interesting for VRM. Yeah, I mean that's interesting. If Carvana goes up like 100 or something today, something crazy.
Okay, that makes sense. And
That
honestly,
would light
that's what
everything.
when you were saying stores about meme territory, I was thinking like, what sympathies are going to come into play here?
Yeah.
And so that makes sense, knowing that. And I guess we just didn't look at it beyond the chart, but yeah, Vroom Inc. As the actual.
What's this bad boy doing?
So that does make sense. It could be then again adding that piece of information together. Yeah, this could very well be a good watch if it runs in sympathy with Carvana for sure. Again, how well it does that is up to is to unknown still. We gotta have to you have to watch it and let it play out.
Oh yeah, there we go. V-Ray. That is a full-blown stock less than a dime a share. I would never touch it. It looks like they do not like shareholders, and they've missed every single endpoint they've ever challenged themselves with in their life. Oh my gosh.
I don't care too much about their endpoints.
Wow. Yeah, it's just not really. That's never something I'd trade. Looks pretty toxic. All right. I'm not really seeing any more questions today. That being said, there's 15 minutes till the market open, and me and Kyle are gonna head right back into the Clover room. I believe. Have we just? Let's see. The boot camp tickets. If you haven't checked them out already, please do so. The prices are going to continue to go up. Let's see. Tonight we have Wine Wednesday. We will see you there on Twitch. There will be a link in the Clover Discord room, and that's going to be at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock my time. Which I don't know why everybody just doesn't use Central, but oh well. And I believe there's going to be another webinar. Is it tomorrow or Friday?
Tomorrow, me and Huddy have one. Yes, so we will do that then. And then, yep, Wine Wednesday tonight. And, right, if you're going to the boot camp, now is the time to get your ticket. Other than that, yeah, everybody go in the chat room, get our day started.
Let's do it, everybody. Stay safe out there. Carvana is entering outlier territory. When outlier territory comes, you need to have firm risk parameters. No need to get emotional with a stock or revenge trade, any of this, because there will be much more cleaner days if you don't see things clearly today. All right, everybody. Stay safe out there and keep that risk in check.
Okay. See everybody. Peace.